Someone approached me and sent me a message asking me to delve into the Fallout universe more, and I suppose that's something I can do. Today, we will be talking about everyone's favorite nuclear-powered lore, the Fallout series, but more specifically, the newer series, though today's theory does apply to the older series as well. So let's delve into one of the most interesting lores in gaming, Fallout. Fallout, a word used for the radiation after effects that come from a nuclear explosion. Most people understand this when applied to a nuclear bomb drop. However, this can happen with a nuclear facility as well. But let's begin the video by just addressing the theory and the question. The person who sent me the message was named the Glowing Ghoul, and they asked, is there anything in Fallout universe that is 100% real? For example, ghouls. Well, that is a great question, but let me alter the question slightly and turn this into a theory. I am going to address roughly 3 main things that are in the Fallout universe that actually did happen, and one of these things is exceedingly creepy, if not all of them. Even though the vault experiments are amazingly creepy and psychotic to a point, they never happened in the real world, well, with vaults and whatnot. But I want to address real-world things. I want to start with ghouls and the post-apocalyptic world. So, are they, or could they be real? Well, I'm going to use examples I have found, and some of these are very dark times in our history, so be aware of what I'm going to be talking about and showing. I want to begin with Chernobyl. As far as Fallout 3 and New Vegas is shown, it's fairly accurate to what would happen if there was a nuclear explosion. We do not know the amount of nukes that exactly fell on the capital, but we do know in Vegas 3 dropped. But Las Vegas is not a great region to look at. I personally visited it, and there are very few locations that had anything nature-wise. It's all dust and desert and crag. However, looking at Chernobyl, I am certain that people can understand how exactly it looks like if those areas were to be hit with nukes. Those areas that look very similar in Fallout compared to Chernobyl. Decay, destruction, abandonment, a big sense that something terrible did happen. It's almost a one-to-one connection, and I think Bethesda did an amazing job on this replication in the game. I will link a video in the description below to a person exploring these remains as well. You can view it at your leisure. Let's move on to my second example, Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and if ghouls are real or could be real. Well, yes and no. The human body has issues with radiation, which is one of the worst plagues to have ever come out to humanity. When the Fat Man was dropped, many people died on the detonation site, causing one of the worst tragedies in the world that has ever been seen. Such destruction has since then never occurred again. But all those people died. Even the people on the outskirts didn't turn into ghouls though. Well, technically. Radiation effects on humans' internal organs are much worse, and in such a way that it kills before it can actually mutate enough to change a person into a ghoul, or much less a glowing one. But is it impossible? Again, I'm going to show you a real person who was affected by radiation poisoning to a severe point, and I will leave the judgment to you on what radiation can do to you. Radiation is a cancer, but saying that isn't a metaphor. It is literally cancer. It destroys the innocent and guilty alike. So, to say they are ghouls, is that possible? Yes. People who are continuously exposed to radiation change over time. Not being exposed to too much to die, but just enough to be twisted and crippled, unfortunately. There is even a ghoul that talks about this happening to her. Over time, it changed her, melted her skin, made her lose her hair, awful things in the Fallout games. Ghouls are possible, though they are not called that in real life. They are indeed human beings. Let's move on to the second most terrifying real fact about Fallout. You know those books you can get to help your skills in Fallout? One of them is called Duck and Cover, which was an ad campaign in the 1950s for civil training drills. Drills for children. Yes, children to be taught on how to avoid being burnt by a nuclear blast. As crazy as this seems, anything covering you when a flash of the nuclear blast detonates will protect you from the burns. This is shown with an example from a man who was in Nagasaki during the dropping of the nuke. Parts of his body were uncovered, whereas the rest of him were, and yes, he was burnt on the uncovered portions. But miraculously, he was not harmed at all where he was covered. These kind of drills were taught to children in the schools during the 1950s, and I will leave a link to the actual video down below, and without a doubt, it is very creepy. And oddly enough, it fits into the Fallout universe with its cartoony nature, and it's very, well, creepy to me, but maybe it's something else to you. Finally, let's cover one of the creepiest things that is real about the Fallout universe and real life. Mr. Fallout, the front man, always so happy-go-lucky, obviously taking inspiration from Duck and Cover, the most famous for his thumbs up. Yeah, you see him everywhere, and most people like it. A big old thumbs up. That guy is so happy, right? But that is actually the symbol for checking if the Fallout radiation zone is too close to you and if you should evacuate or not. Apparently, if the blast was larger than your thumb, you should evacuate. I had a hard time fact-checking this, but it occurred before the Duck and Cover campaign, and this was changed to prevent children and citizens from being burnt from the blast. I actually consulted real-life people, veterans of World War II, and my own grandfather, and they all confirmed hearing this at one point in time or another. And this was taught to children in classrooms. There's a full video about it, multiple videos funded by the government. But the creepiest part is that if you were within a certain radius of the nuclear blast, nothing would save you. And yet the government didn't feel the need to tell the citizens about that at the time, due to the simple fact that they wanted to prevent panic. If that nuclear blast exceeded your thumb, you're dead. No ducking and covering will save you. So you really should instead just live out your last moments with your loved one, instead of ducking and covering when there's a nuke literally falling on your head. So ladies and gentlemen, Fallout might be a game series, but it might possibly be one of the most accurate and creepiest ones there are. Thanks for watching, and drop me a like if you learned something. Or, you know, if you just want to share the video and you enjoyed the show. But before I go, I want to ask you, if you have a Twitter account, would you please follow me? I have very few followers there for some reason, but I always put out information pertaining to my videos and stream times, and many people constantly ask me questions here that I have answered on Twitter. So if you do have a Twitter, would you mind following me? My name is @Protomario, and thanks. I have been your host, Protomario, and I'm signing out. See you in the wasteland, survivors. And now, the important decision of joining the Maverick Rebellion. We are a tight group of individuals who rebel against stereotypes and greater evils that are commonly accepted. ISPs, children being conned out of games, sexism in video games, enough is enough, and the Mavericks have had it. If you choose to subscribe, or stay subscribed, you are joining the fight against injustice by watching my numerous video topics, from net neutrality to publishers covering up botched releases. The Mavericks are always informed on the issues plaguing your gaming experience today. So don't be left out in the cold, and don't let those people keep you down. Join the Maverick Rebellion today and become a member of the community that will listen and engage with you. What are you waiting for? Just click subscribe and you'll be in good company. Mavericks unite. Please note that in all my videos, if I use images from Google, that I do not own any of those images, and all images obtained from Google are owned by their respective owners and copyrights. So please remember this.